Good afternoon, everybody. This is Tim. Uh, I was making a video today because this is actually the 12th month I've had my YouTube channel, and I was just explaining to everybody the message I've been sending out, which is the vision of peace, which I've been marketing myself at the moment, and the importance of being in Christ consciousness and understanding it in a way where you are a service to others as God is a service to you as Him being our creator. And the best way I put it is being in the academy of time where we have to learn how to appreciate time, and how we do that is by appreciating time how He appreciates it. And the way you appreciate it is seeing it the way He sees it. And the way He sees it is He has to preserve time to preserve Himself. Well, yeah, because He put His creation in time, so He can cherish it and nourish it in the way He designed it to be. And being in the Academy of Time, you have to learn self accountability, which is self mastery, and you have to learn how to understand God's character, which will help you understand His law, which would be the physical law, emotional law, and mental law. So you have to be on one accord emotionally, mentally, and physically. And the way you do that is aligning your conscious thoughts with His. And it helps to learn how He speaks, because He only speaks out of His character. And understanding His character will help you see the road that He paid for you, because He wouldn't send you down a road that will send you into death, basically, because He holds death in a different perspective than we do, because He is immortal and He knows that our time is limited because He gave us that time, that certain amount of time to experience it. And you will want anybody wants to experience time the best way they imagine it, because we are born not knowing how to appreciate time. So we have to have a guide to show us what time actually really means in the human perspective, because that's the only experience we can understand right now, because that's how He created it to be at the moment. And we experiencing someone who stands out of time to appreciate time through us, because we're experiencing time, which means He's given us a story and a chance to write a story through our actions to have that experience. But some experiences we have are involuntary or voluntary. As kids, so we don't really have a choice but to go with what our parents gave us. And sometimes it detours you from God's consciousness on what He really wants, because your perspective is on something you thought you were missing. So in the Academy of Time, He's teaching you how to appreciate time from the heart. And when you appreciate time from the heart, you see that you're getting information that preserves it as long as you can. And He puts things in us where we learn how to design our future, like our dreams and our passions and our desires. And He has no problem giving us the desires of our hearts. He just wants us to be able to appreciate it. And sometimes it takes a long time to understand what are we supposed to be appreciative of. And having a perspective of love from His perspective, you know what's good for you and not good for you. What's bad for you depletes you, and what's good for you preserves you. So putting it in that perspective, we just appreciating time, appreciating time from a perspective of God's perspective is being able to preserve yourself and the intellect that He gave us. And from the beginning of time, He had to set the table of intellect of how to preserve, knowing that we were going to gather as much information as we can to preserve and create the cultures and society that we've lived in throughout time. but we had to realize that it was the preservation of innocence that kept the culture innocent. Because when we decided to go against his conscious law, we tended to make issues out of illusions that we thought were reality when we were just looking at the flesh part of things. We had to look at the heart of the matter. And seeing how today's society is, we've grown a few years, but still working out the kinks in our design and in our world system, we see that we have to preserve the future starting from our perspective of love, and we have to pass it on to the next generation so they can see what they have. And doing so, we are punting heaven to future generations so they can preserve that vision as well and progress it as the intellect grows from him. And seeing how we all eat from the same intellectual table, there is no measure in articulating what preserves you. So the measure of success is being able to articulate the intellect that preserves you in any way, shape, or form that you were born in. So the things that we thought were hindering us, we just had to put the intellect into the solution and create from there the innocence it took to see that there was an actual problem and fix it. So it's all about sticking together to create the heaven and utopia that we want. So that's the message I've been putting out. That's part of what I've been putting out for now. Have a good day, and I hope you see what preserves you and create a resource from it so others can benefit from what you've created. So see what's inside you and make it the best legacy that you want to leave before you exit time. So keep your life in mind and where you want to go. So have a good day and have a blessed one.